Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate the hearing today and our testifiers. Thank you. I live close to Lake Michigan. Actually, my whole district, including the city of Chicago, our eastern border is Lake Michigan, and the Great Lakes represent 20% of the world's surface water. But we know, and the EPA is responsible for a wonderful project to make sure that we stay clean. And I think it is shocking what Congressman Soto mentioned, that in all the years since the act has been in place, that only one toxin has been identified. There are millions of Americans who don't have access to clean water right now, and we know that the environment and the challenges we're facing are hurting our Great Lakes. We see rising lake levels and worsening storms, and they're eroding drinking water infrastructure. And unless we address the climate crisis, our water systems are going to be worse. And look, no one in the United States of America, the richest country in the world, should worry that they cannot turn on the tap and not have clean water. And this is why it's so concerning to me that the EPA struggles to act promptly under the Safe Drinking Water Act. Sometimes we even hear. Can you hear me? Oh, okay, he's talking. We even hear the phrase paralysis by analysis. And I just wanted to ask Ms. Wu, have you heard that phrase, and what does it mean to you?
I have heard it, and it is, I think, the idea that EPA or whomever just keeps going back and back and back and looking for as much certainty as possible before they can take action on it, even though they may have the science in front of them that shows more than enough information for them to take action that's protective.
So we know that years have passed while the EPA goes through certain requirements, and toxins remain in the water. Can you give us an example of something that I know a number of people have asked questions about what's urgent, but what are examples of common toxins that have been studied and not addressed?
Well, I think perchlorate is probably the best example because it's really the only one that EPA tried to get through this whole process, which is even as far back as like the 90s, we knew that it had harmful health impacts for people, especially pregnant women who were exposed to it. And we also knew that it was in the drinking water of millions of Americans. And then as EPA was trying to figure out how to set the standards and what the number should be, there were a lot of points where industry could influence that uncertainty and influence the science and, try to change it. And EPA was even missed its statutory deadlines for when it needs to propose and finalize these standards. And it took a lawsuit from NRDC to try to get them to say that they were going to set one, and now we're seeing this administration try to backtrack on that. So, perchlorate is the best example because it's the only one that EPA has tried to get through this, and we can see we're how many years out, we still haven't seen one from them.
Let me ask you this. I work pretty closely with the employees at EPA in Chicago and Region 5, and they've been pretty much decimated staff-wise. Has this been a problem, just that the EPA does not have the personnel it needs to do the kind of oversight and to move things more quickly?
I don't know the total answer to your question. For some of these, like I said, it's been decades of science and assessments that EPA has done. So what's happening to them right now shouldn't have impacted, say, 10 years ago when they could have embarked on this, or even earlier. Maybe it's impacting it now, but again, that doesn't really explain like the decades of delay.
Thank you. I do think that they feel like they are hamstrung in doing today's job to protect our water because they have lost so much personnel. And I want to thank all of you. I yield back.